I don't know, being on the air for, say, a decade or whatever. It felt really cool to me to be able to say, hey, we're going on 10 years we've been on the air. I remember that very distinctly. Very distinctly, I remember saying, man, it's neat. Been on the air for a decade. Because radio's so fickle, you don't really get all those opportunities. And so I thought, well, that's cool. We've established something. We built up, and hopefully I'm getting better and learning along the way. And then I remember we were getting to 15 years. And then recently, of course, as we were getting to 20 years on the air, saying that struck a chord, good and bad. Struck a chord, good and bad. Mostly good, but it hit me. It was a little bit more profound. I thought, well, and it's not I don't mean it as a pat on the back thing. I just like, oh my God, where did the years go type thing? Like how it happened so quickly. Time flies truly when you are having fun. So, it's like, oh my goodness, 20 years have gone by. Well, we're not far from 25 years having gone by.
Yeah. Yeah, you're closer to 25 than 20. For me, the first time I ever heard this show was 16 years ago, driving back from class at Williams Hall. And that feels like, where has the time gone?
Mm-hmm.
16 years is a good bit of time. My 20th reunion from high school is coming up in the not too distant future. That's alarming and sad.
The reunions will hit you because I get stuff in the mail, and I remember my 20th reunion. I remember my 25th reunion, and I remember my 30th.
Did you go to each one?
I haven't gone to any of them.
Okay, yeah.
I've never been to one. I think enough time has passed where all that stuff washes away and you could go and it wouldn't be awkward. Like once you have established yourself in a career and most people are married and have kids and they're beyond all the superficial nonsense that people get caught up in high school and just after high school, early college, all of the cliquey kind of stuff you want to avoid once you leave school. Like enough time goes by, then it just becomes usually, if you had a decent experience in high school, a friendly, nostalgic way to catch up. It's all this, oh, look at that. There's Jerry. Haven't seen Jerry in 18 years. How the hell are you, Jerry? That kind of stuff. That's what happens. But I haven't gone back. I just haven't. I've never felt compelled to go back. I should. I don't know. I had a great high school experience.
Unless you were being honored on a Friday night.
I did go back for that. I did. Yeah. When I was honored, I went back, Tom, but I have not gone other than when I was honored. Well, I had to show up for that. But it would have been rude of me not to go there and take that honor. That would have been awful. Nobody's honoring me when I go back to the class reunion. So unless that changes, Tom, maybe I never hit one of these. Today is W's and L's. You guys have waited on it.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo. W's, L's. Yeah, we'll get to it. What's wrong?
Oh, sorry, my mic was on.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you doing? What's going on here?
I went with the L, but it was backwards.
Yeah.
It looks like an L to me.
I'm glad you didn't curse and say, oh, I just effed up the L or the J.
Don't worry. Nobody's making a delivery in here.
That would have been that'd have been bad. Yeah, we'll get to W's and L's. Yesterday's Seminole headlines. We didn't do it. We had an honor for, and it was nice of the fellas. They were like, no. We won't do W's and L's. That's you and Tom. That's what you guys do. Damn right, it's what we do.
They said that? That's nice of them.
Well, yeah, it came up. They're like, no, you got to do your W's and L's. It's true. I started the W's and L's way back when. Now everybody does it. Now everybody weighs in. But it's not as cool as ours, W's and L's. We even have a sounder. So we'll do that momentarily. This is a busy, chocked full show. There's a lot of Florida State stuff. Florida State plays basketball tonight, for example. It seems like that's on the back burner because of the problems that the program has currently with injury and guys out. And, they're not very good. There's all of that stuff. Unfortunately, this week, right off the bat, I had to, I hated doing that.
Indeed.
Just rang the hell out of this thing.
Hopefully you don't have to hit it for consecutive losses,
Well, we did. We have consecutive losses. You mean back-to-back losses?
Yes.
Yeah. Just keep it going?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's that. You have a bombshell of a story in the National Football League. And if you're the NFL, oh my God, you have to be of the mindset today. Are you kidding me that this happens? Now, obviously, the weightiness of the allegations are first and foremost. But secondarily, think about, because it's an eternity between games. So you got 2 weeks, and we're going to vet the hell out of this thing because you can't. It's so serious. It matters a lot. It's a huge it's a huge lawsuit, class action at that. And so the NFL is going to have to answer for it. It's not any. Listen, I get so tired of people acting stunned. Nobody is stunned by these allegations. Not a realist, not a pragmatic person, not somebody who has eyes and lives in the real world and reads and pays attention to things. Nobody's shocked by sort of the obvious hiring practices that have come under scrutiny for years and years and years, right? We've had this conversation in the 20 plus years I've been on the air a lot. So much so that they ended up having to enact a rule because of the hiring practices that the NFL, obviously engaged in for a very, very long time. This is it's a fascinating story because it doesn't just involve racism and accusations of it and unfair hiring practices, but it involves things outside of the lawsuit that are fascinating too. Who knows what, when, tanking, all of this stuff, players and coaches speaking with one another, text threads. I mean, there's so much to gobble up here. I'll tell you what, though, no matter where this goes, and it looks like Flores has brought receipts, but no matter where this goes, Stephen Ross is going to have a hard time remaining the owner of the Miami Dolphins. I think we'll just start with that. I think starting with that, he's going to have a hard time remaining his place as an owner.
Yeah, what's interesting is I saw that the judge who was assigned this particular case in its first stop, and there's going to be many stops along the way, I have a feeling, with this particular case in different kinds of courts, not just, NFL conduct reviews, but in the legal system. This particular judge ruled against Stephen Ross for a soccer/MLS ruling that he was trying to fight out. I don't know the ins and outs of the ruling, but it had something to do with Miami football, meaning soccer, versus the MLS and promotion. And this judge has already ruled against him once, to which people who are connected in the legal community say, ooh, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Flores just got a really good judge to hear his case.
Well, and he's got a really good lawyer alongside.
Because sometimes judges rule with people in power. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it might even be 1-to-1, the ratio.
Could be.
So this would be a judge who doesn't care who Stephen Ross is. Interesting.
I think it's fascinating. You're also, again, no matter where this goes, and we're all going to have to continue to digest and read intimately the details of these accusations because it is weighty. So it's important to have a handle on what's being accused or asserted. And also what can be proven. That's a big part of this too. It's like, if you're just asking my opinion, I'm sure Stephen Ross did all of the things that Brian Flores is saying he did. I'm almost, it's just my opinion. Almost 100% sure he did.
You think $100K a loss? Really?
Oh, I don't. That's
a stunning thing to me. I know what you're talking about. Things shouldn't be shocking to you, but really, like an owner breaking the chain and saying chain of command down to the coach and saying $100,000 every time you lose. Come on. Well, what are you going to do?
Quote unquote, work less, do less, go on vacation. Look, I'll pay you $100,000 a loss because he's saying he doesn't want to do it. He's saying, I won't do it. It's against my DNA. I won't do it. By the way, we've had this discussion of tanking a million times, and you know where I stand on this. This subject alone pisses me off because it affects the integrity of the game, of the sport, and the people who play it. And also, in the case of the NFL, unlike the NBA, can affect the health of the guy next to you. So I have maintained for a very long time, it doesn't happen. Players are never going to intentionally tank in the NFL. They're just never going to do it.
Well, and it's stupid to do the draft the way, if you want to take like the 100,000-foot view, the way that the draft is conducted in the NFL, where the worst is always guaranteed the first pick, is dumb. It should be a 32-team lottery, even chances, if you really want to curb the idea of tanking. So what that the Super Bowl champion might get lucky in a given year and get the number 1 overall pick? No, that's not what we do here, because if you do anything short of that, you are incentivizing tanking. Even, let's say in the NBA's example, if you're on the precipice of making the playoffs, what are 2 home gates going to do for you versus number 1 pick? Even if you have a minuscule chance of climbing up to number 5 in the draft order for the lottery, if you're at the 8-9 seed line and you're an ownership group, why wouldn't you say, we could play our backups tonight and get that 9?
I'm going to say that in other sports like baseball or basketball, I'd be more inclined to think that the tanking can occur, and it does, and that maybe even certain players would be in on it. I don't think it happens in football, man. You're so reliant on the guy next to you so that you don't get hurt. If he doesn't do his job, there's a good chance I get hurt, or that quarterback gets hurt, or this guy gets cracked back on because I didn't do my job. I don't know, man. And just the other part of that, you think about the very fiber of dudes who play football and coach football are involved in competing. If you're a competitor, if you grow up compete, and by the way, you have to really love to compete, to sacrifice the way that professional athletes have had to their whole life to get there, right? You think about all the things you didn't do in order to become good enough to get to the league, right? Most of the time, not all guys are preternaturally great athletes who've kind of just found their way there because they are uniquely gifted, but they're so small. The percentage of those players are so small. Now you're amongst the best of the best of the best of the best, right? All of the hours of the day that is spent obsessing over getting a tenth of a second faster or just that much stronger or that much better in terms of your depth of knowledge about what you're going to be seeing this weekend when you play the game in the film room, all that stuff, right? Yeah, we want you to go out and lose. Go ahead and just lose the game. Well, we know this. Guys that play on teams that lose a lot of games and coaches who coach teams that lose a lot of games, their opportunities to be hired again and again are lessened by doing that very thing. So, no, man, I got to put on film because I'm a free agent. You want me to walk through my job here and not do my job? Who's gonna sign me at the end of this 3 and 14 season? You know, if I'm part of that loserdom and I've got bad tape because you want me to lose, no, man, I don't think it happens. So it's crazy that he would be asked to do that, and it's not crazy to me that he'd go, no, I'm not going to do that. And it begins to, in my mind, kind of crystallize how that situation got weird at the end. We were initially all shocked with him getting fired because of the job he had done. The admitted, seemingly, maybe not universally agreed upon, but certainly the vast majority of insiders that cover the National Football League, other coaches, players, people that obviously assess the league would tell you that he did a very good job given the circumstances. And then all of a sudden to hear this idea after they fire him, after a winning season, after he's turned this around, his players fight for him, all that stuff would have been because he was uncommunicative with his assistants. Well, maybe now we know why. It was a sinking ship. The whole thing was, once you have that fight with your owner and you refuse to do tampering, purposely lose, you don't agree with him who to draft, this is going nowhere.
Yeah, correct. But that doesn't mean that your subordinates have to suffer for it. You know, if you are the head coach of the football team,
correct.
He's not completely without blame in that situation.
We will find out.
If it is in fact true, he stopped responding to his assistant coaches, then in a way he is tanking at that moment
or protecting them. But that's a whole nother thing. And we can get, well, listen, I'm certainly not going to side with the ownership of the Miami Dolphins. Let me tell you that.
I agree with you there. I do think there are some things at what I've read so far in the complaint that have me discounting because of sensationalism. You don't need sensationalism in a document such as that if you've got the goods. And the sensationalism to me, and it's a hot button topic, it's language that's very strong, says it likens the NFL to a plantation,
right.
Which the owners own and the labor force, which is 70% black, are the ones that work. Well, that's just denigrating to that particular situation.
I know what you're going to say. The compensation.
So why would you need to ever go there if you've got the receipts? You don't have to go sensational. All you got to do is factual.
Well, if you're going to go public and decide to take it all the way to the hill to go to court, and you're going to fight in the public for public opinion and siding, then maybe you would. And this,
but you lose somebody like me the moment you say something like that because you lose credibility. Now, it might still be true in the end. What he says might still be true in the end, but you don't have to go there because that's not the same thing. It's not even close. It's not analogous in any way.
What I would say is the way it's run. When they're talking about the owners, the under-the-table deals, who gets paid, who doesn't, who gets hired, who doesn't. If that's what he's saying, okay, fine. What I get what you're talking about with compensation.
Show me the W-2s in 1850.
Yeah, right. I got you. What I would say, though, is if you're hell-bent on taking this all the way, which is to say, I'm not going to settle. Oh, well, then this is how you get down and dirty in the muck, and that's why you do the tour, and here we go.
No, there's no doubt. And what he's doing in that sense, he is risking, and he might have just killed his whole career.
He just decided it's worth it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't strike me as flippant. He doesn't strike me as the man who didn't. I mean, if you watched any of those interviews, if you heard any of those conversations, if you've heard Bill Belichick talk about Brian Flores, so let's just go with that. Why don't we go with one of the 3 or 4 greatest coaches in the history of the NFL?
Can't read his contacts list in his phone.
Disagree. I think he did it on purpose. But here's the thing with that. I mean, to me, if you hear the way that, and this is all before these accusations, all before that text, before any of that, if you read what Bill Belichick has had to say about Brian Flores as a former assistant with the New England Patriots, you know he adores him. You know he thinks he's a brilliant, hardworking, and loyal assistant coach that he was. To me, you can't be those things in that organization if it's in fact, not evident to Bill that you are. I mean, you don't last. The other people that have come in there that had high-profile names and that were quickly ushered out the door, Graciano and others, obviously didn't show that same sort of aptitude, dedication to work.
Sure.
All of it, right? So if the greatest coach or one of all time assesses him that way, it certainly lends credibility to who he is as a worker and a coach. So you just start with that. Never mind the job that he did. So he's got an awful lot of credibility.
And it's not like the NFL doesn't blackball either. I understand that. I mean, listen, when Joe Webb gets re-signed year after year, right? You're telling me, and let's go back 3-4 years ago when he was already over the hill and useless then, when that dude gets re-signed and a prominent player does not, there's proof positive that the NFL there is an in club and an out club, but
and you don't even need that. I mean, yes, that's
true though.
Oh, it is true.
I'm just saying on the other side of it, if I'm going to get mad at Flores for sensationalism, I'm not saying that completely disqualifies anything he's arguing. The Rooney Rule is there for a reason.
Well, because of the underrepresentation of it, that's been going on for a long, long time, right? The advent of that was necessitated by obvious unfair hiring practices. So that's, I mean, this is going to be infinitely fascinating. There are going to be layers and layers and layers. My original point was, what a kick in the cojones for the National Football League to have had the run of games that they've had. Every one of these playoff games besides Bucks Eagles has been sensational. It's left us like in awe of what we're watching. You have casual observers, many of whom I know or run into around, who are like, this has been riveting. I can't believe it. For all the people like, I'm walking away from the NFL, they've all come back, numbers proven, and they're growing. The numbers are growing because of games like that. And now for the next 2 weeks, this is the conversation. If you're Goodell, you're like, son of a, oh my goodness. Hopefully you're going, we got to remedy this. But also, if you're Goodell, who works for the owners, you're like, I don't know how you'd get the message to them, but there might be some message along the lines of, I don't know that I can save you on this one. This is going to be problematic. This is a toughie. We've got some real issues here, Stephen.
I mean, you're talking about not only the integrity of a front office and the way it's being run. The other thing that I didn't like immediately, I know that the NFL has enough power that they would catch wind of what's coming. They would. But that this statement is released, the complaint is brought to the public's attention, and the NFL responds with a statement within an hour, 90 minutes, that says all these charges are without merit. How the hell do you know that? How do you know? You can't say that because it's not about the front office or the league office, with which I would believe the PR advisor works. That's where they work in New York.
Right.
If you're talking about franchises and you haven't taken it 1 second to look into those franchises' practices and investigate your own 32-member teams, how can you say those claims are without merit within an hour or two?
No, that's crazy. Yeah, it's a PR run. It's what it is, right? It's like, well, we got to get out in front of this and say it's not true. Well, this will go on a while. This is not going to go away anytime soon. This is a lengthy deal. Back to Florida State here. There's a lot of stuff with Florida State that we do need to talk about, including it's so weird how much closer college football is getting to pro football. When you hear the term GM, you start laughing a little bit. I mean, I do. I mean, that's where we are now. It's been etching ever closer to this. Florida State is set to hire, or did hire, reportedly has hired a new GM for recruiting, and this is now the modern lingo surrounding major college football teams. This is what you have.
The irony on a signing day in which there's really nothing going on.
I had this conversation. We got to go to break in a second. I had this conversation yesterday with a guy who is a casual follower and fan of college football. I say casual. It's not his day-to-day job. He's not reading something every single day about college football. He's not knee-deep in the weeds of recruiting every day and all that. And he said to me, isn't tomorrow National Signing Day? I was like, well, kind of. And he was like, well, but wasn't it always a really big deal? I was like, well, it used to be. It doesn't mean anything now. Virtually nothing. Unless you're a new coach and you're scrambling like Billy Napier at Florida to try to get 5 or 6 kids, to put something of a class together because every new guy that gets hired gets screwed with this early signing period process, as we've seen with Mike Norvell, who got doubled down on with the screwing because of the following COVID. But yeah, so you had bend over happening for poor Mike, not once but twice, but most coaches just happens to once because of the early signing period. But days like today, the buildup was extraordinary, and now most places quiet as a church mouse. There's nothing.
Yeah, outside of, the Habs will get an extra 4 or 5 star that's floating out there that was just courting the highest offer because they want to take the negotiation down to the wire. But I hope, and I think we're reaching consensus here, because I don't believe that the early signing period should move up to August before the season starts. There's too much movement within coaching staffs and within the university structure that's not fair to the player either, unless you could have an early signing period that goes part and parcel with you get out of your LOI if the coach leaves.
100%.
Right. Like if you do that,
I think
then
you could do that. I think you could do that.
I'd rather move it back to today. Today was great. It was always
it used
great.
To be awesome. This would have been a day where we would have been on the edge of our seat, the nerves, all of it. Also, just where it's situated, it's better. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's a quieter time of the year. You're not near the holidays.
Oh, It's kind of it allows you to get through in a weird way. February. You're like, oh, okay, we got a little something to sustain us through February. I'm not even talking about it from a talk show standpoint. I'm just talking about it from, if you're a lover of the sport, you get this added nugget.
Oh, those weekends in January, those were visit weekends. Those were, the hot topics.
Man. So I'll get to who that new GM is in a moment, and certainly reflect back on all the player interviews we've had. We do have Florida State basketball. I do want to delve back into much of what we just talked about, surface level, with the Flores situation and the accusations levied. We've got a ton. It's tough. And I think the thing that goes on the back burner, sadly, is, to be honest with you, Florida State basketball. It doesn't feel vibrant.
We also got a cool announcement today, too.
And W's and L's.
I know.
And W's and L's. Yeah, we do have a cool announcement today, and that is, speaking of nostalgia, buddy, here we go. We'll welcome it back in. It's a big announcement. We'll get to it momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
This is Sister Dot Brown, reminding you to tune in every Sunday morning from 9 to 11 for good gospel music here on 93.3 every Sunday morning. Dot Brown.
Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue just north of Havana have become your destination for the best food either side of the state line. But what if you want fresh seafood? Say no more. Kenny and the crew have got you covered with seafood so fresh, the only way you'll get it fresher is if you grow a set of gills. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of the last light in Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, open 7 days a week. Get your fill at the grill.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. Please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
When you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get great savings and round-the-clock protection, which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Now, so there's, I mean, it's fine. I'm a Tom Waits guy through and through, so you can always play that. As always, a reminder: if you're looking to hold yourself accountable, if you're looking to get stronger, to live more vibrantly, if you will, and to lose weight, whatever your goals might very well be they strength, nutritional, Orange Theory Fitness is the option that I would recommend. Scientifically backed. That's always important. It's not an opinion. You get the evidence that you are a healthier person. Greater fitness is evident on a day-to-day basis, week to week. You build and you get stronger. And you see that in the numbers, which are displayed on your heart rate monitor. And all that information is sent to you every day after your workout, by the way. It'll tell you everything about what you just did, the rigors you put your body through with proper guidance and coaching and support from other members. First month is free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. First class is always free. If you're curious, I strongly suggest you go check it out. You'll find that it's not only welcoming, but it's also a lot of fun. You don't often hear that about workouts. Challenging, but it's fun. Orange Theory Fitness. You can check them out at orangetheoryfitness.com. 2 locations in town. So I'll leave it up to you, Tom. I know it's the Jeff Cameron Show, but you want to do the unveiling of the news, or do you want to do W's and L's? I'm okay with either.
All right. I think it's time to unveil the news. It's an exciting thing. I'm looking forward to this, and it's going to happen in 2.5 months.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited because it's something we did for a very long time, and a lot of people were able to enjoy it, including ourselves, obviously. But also we were able to benefit various charities. We've had a good time over the years. So the Jeff Cameron Show Invitational is what we're talking about, folks. This was a golf tournament here in Tallahassee that we did, I want to say about 14 years worth. That had to go away eventually for a variety of reasons. When I went over to ESPN, we did it the first year there, but we didn't get the opportunity to do it after that. And again, nobody's fault per se, just it was a logistical nightmare for us given certain circumstances, and rules changed when we came over to ESPN. So we're not at ESPN any longer, Tom. I don't know if you know that. We are not. We are with Warchant.com and 93.3 Real Talk Radio, amongst others.
Not at ESPN? What a shame.
Yeah. So we said immediately upon striking these deals, hey, we should bring it back, and we're going to bring it back. And if you want, you can display the graphic now for those watching. By the way, well done with that. On Warchant TV, you'll see Friday, April the 15th is the return of the Jeff Cameron Show Invitational, Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Invitational this time around for my cohorts. Also, fine folks here at 93.3 will be involved in said tournament, and that's great because obviously we work on a daily basis with both groups, and we are happy to do so. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be a sponsor. We know that always. And many others are soon to join, and our thanks to Capital City Country Club, which will host this very prestigious, as you can tell by the workup on the graphic, this very prestigious tournament, the Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Invitational, April the 15th, 8:30 a.m. Details coming as to how you sign up your foursome. It will, it'll fill up quick. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah, and we're also we're capping the number of teams. We could try and do that 36 group, or 36 cart deal where you're out there for 7 hours. We, in the spirit of the namesake of the tournament, old Jeff across the glass, we're going to try and make this thing move while you also have a great time. Because he hates 6-hour rounds of golf, and so therefore we are not going to play a 6-hour round of golf on a shotgun start on Friday, April 15th.
I'm not going to do that to you. You got places to go, people to see, things to get on with, and I get it, man. I love golf. I love hanging out, having a few pops with my buddies and playing golf and laughing with them, hopefully playing well, doing all those things, benefiting charity. We love to do all those things in a timely fashion. There's no reason to be out there for 6.5, 7 hours, and I play in a lot of golf tournaments. And God bless them because they're doing the right thing most of the time. But, man, they stack it to the hilt. And next thing you know, you got 8 people waiting on a tee box. And you've heard what I have to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear you speak, but not to that end about waiting on a golf course.
No.
Besides, when you have a post-round banquet at a place like Corner Pocket Bar and Grill where they have kegs of beer, and they will, one for free for people who are in the tournament until it's done. They got the wing bars and the apps. It's all that outstanding stuff. So it'll be a fun day. Put it in your calendar now. We will get you information on how to sign up. It'll be easy to do. And then take the whole day off. Don't take the morning off. Don't work a half day. Take the whole day. You're going to enjoy it on Friday, April 15th.
It's going to kick ass. You know how beautiful the weather's going to be April the 15th, buddy? It's going to be beautiful.
Sounds good.
No, think about that time of year.
I hope you're right. That's always the sweat.
It's not hot in April.
No, just with the precipitation.
You're worried about rain.
Yeah,
well,
that's always
fine.
the sweat. With about 10 days out, you go, oh, what's the long-term forecast?
I never worry about it, actually. I never worry about it. We're going to play, unless the course is underwater, we're going to play. And we're going to have a good time. And we're going to adapt. That's what we do. Adapt, survive, keep playing, have a good time. Might have a little delay here or there if the rain happens. But why are we talking about the rain before we even get out there to play? What are we doing? It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And we'll have a good time because we're going to benefit the fine folks at Second Harvest. I'm really happy about that. Joining with them, they're the charity of choice this time around. We may end up doing a lot of different things over the coming months because of these opportunities presented now for us to do so. And I'm going to continue to look for great charities like Second Harvest and others as we move forward. Obviously, everybody's well aware of what we do for the guardian ad litem. And I'm not saying this, again, to say that a boy. I'm saying this is the opportunity we have, and it's great because you guys step up and fulfill it every time we ask you to. And then these great charities who do a lot of good for people who are in desperate need of that good, they benefit. And who doesn't? That's a win for everybody. Why wouldn't we do it, especially if we can have fun while doing it? So the bowling tournament, the golf tournament, we may double down on another bowling tournament. We end up doing some other things too. I'm excited about all this.
Yeah, we're also really excited. We don't have all the details finalized yet, but for those of you who do sign up, there's going to be some fun wrinkles to this tournament. I mean, you're going to be playing golf, but there'll be a couple of fun little stations out there across the 18 holes that you're not going to forget. Be good times.
Yeah. One of them is kind of not what you'd think at a Jeff Cameron Show invitation.
That's correct.
But it turns out it's awesome.
It is.
I love it. So there is that. All right. W's, L's. Up next, Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Leon County Commissioner and Chairman Bill Proctor wrote a letter Tuesday to State Attorney Jack Campbell and Public Defender Jessica Urey. In the letter, Proctor writes that the Leon County Detention Facility is reaching its 1,200-person maximum capacity with 1,175 detainees currently residing in the facility. The average length of stay for people detained pre-sentence ranges from 262 days to as long as 4 years. The goal is to lower the stay period to 30 to 45 days. The FBI office has received reports of scammers attempting to target Florida residents claiming to be from the FBI. A scammer claims that charges have been or soon will be filed. Victims are told that they will be forced to pay significant fees or court costs to resolve the matter if they do not wire settlement money or provide payment via prepaid cards or gift cards. If you believe you are a victim of a scam, file a complaint with local law enforcement and contact the Federal Trade Commission at identitytheft.gov for more assistance. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 73 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, southeasterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows level off around 57 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Highs around 75 tomorrow, a blend of clouds and sun. Chance for scattered storms Friday, chance for scattered showers on Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 72.
Hi, I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. And as an agent with Florida Farm Bureau, I'm continuing that promise. Farm Bureau Insurance has been protecting what matters most for over 75 years. Your home, your auto, your family, your life. Who's protecting you? Give me a call, 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. At Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeffrey Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Oh,
hang on. No,
This
it's not.
is slanderous.
No, it's not. It's not about mailing it in. It's just the Impossible Germany solo
Oh,
from Tallahassee.
he didn't do it.
Can't. No, he just can't touch the one from Tallahassee. I've now seen it 3 other times, and the one he played here in April of that year was unbelievable.
It was also fresh. It was fresher at that time.
Yeah.
And that solo, I might add, is in my top 5 solos of all time. It's one of my favorite, and I don't mean just the live version that we saw, but that solo on that song and the duel between the two of them, or the partnership between the two of them, the conversation, if you will, between the two of them, is the kind of thing that can bring you to tears. It's beautiful.
It really is. Yeah, the Bull Black Nova that they played this particular time is the best I've ever seen.
Okay, so there you go. Little trade off. Okay, my man. Let's get straight to it. I am pumped. All right, it's time. W's and L's. The schedule release happened on Monday. We didn't get to it yesterday other than to give some, cursory thoughts on it. Now Tom and I will break it down here. W's and L's in February.
L's. Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Losses.
Damn it! We lost. We fucking super lost, man.
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall?
Never really gets old. I could listen to that time and again. and I smile. We had fun that day. I remember when we
It must have been craft beer that day or something.
we created that. It was fun. I just remember we were like, this is going to be good. Let's do this. And then I had to get into character. So it was like, okay, here we go.
It's kind of inspired by a different program on that station.
Very, very much. Yeah. Hey, so let's start with this. Okay. So we're all starting 1-0. Duquesne. Yeah, got it. But I want to say no. Before we get to that, you hosted a show on Warchant TV on the night of the schedule, the ACC network announcing the schedule. They went week to week. They analyzed their favorite games of that week within the ACC.
That was a fun show because they only did it 1 week at a time.
Yeah,
we expected to get hit with the whole thing, and you had to string it out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I didn't envy you. I was like, oh, this will be fun. They got to sit around and wait till, yeah. So nonetheless, you, Ira, and Gene did a great job, and you guys went through the schedule. And I purposely, I only went back to listen. I didn't listen live. Now, there's a reason I didn't listen live, is that I wanted to kind of think about it, digest the schedule release as it came out, and come up with my own opinions and not be influenced by what I was hearing from you.
You don't want to hear what's right. You want to think about what you believe first.
I already know my assessment of the schedule is going to be the right one. So I can't have it all cluttered with you guys chit-chatting away about what you think about the schedule. So I was sitting there thinking, all right, let's lock it in, Cameron. Your listeners, diehard Noles everywhere, are counting on you to give them the straight dope when it comes to the schedule. You can't have this unduly influenced by others, even dear friends.
No mishmash, only the good stuff.
That's right. So I silenced your asses, and I watched intently and jotted my notes. And then when I got done, I thought, let's go back and hear what they had to say. Let's see if they got it right as me. And you guys did. You mostly got it. Most of you guys came through big time. I was so proud. And I was like, look at that. Look at my boy Tom. I knew he'd get it. There's Ira and Gene. They're doing the right thing too. Good on you. Good on you.
Like and subscribe. My God.
Yeah, I was.
If I hadn't already, I would have.
If I didn't work for them, I would have asked to after listening to that. This is fantastic. So there I was. And I jotted in my notes. I have lots of notes. Old school notes, Tom. I'm not sitting there on the iPad with a little no, I'm taking notes, pencil and pad. And my note, the note that I put a star next to was, thank you, ACC. That's the first thing I said. I looked at that schedule and I said, now, if we're going to be men and we're going to look at this thing as men look at football schedules, we're going to say, my God, this is doable. Look at this schedule. As a man, we can handle this schedule. I know it. Look at us taking a step forward to that kind of toughness. Look at us. We will handle and navigate this schedule very well because it sets up perfectly. The bye weeks are right where you want them, especially that second bye. You got a team that, look, the games are the games. I didn't schedule LSU. They did. That was dumb. They shouldn't have scheduled LSU, but that's what they did. So you got to play it. So I thought, all right, well, less than ideal, but fine. You get Duquesne beforehand, which I also would have never scheduled and is a travesty to football everywhere. But we did, so it's an automatic win. Fine, got it. We'll play Duquesne on the 27th. It'll be hotter than Hades. I don't care if that game's played at 11 o'clock at night. It's going to suck. But that said, there's your first win of the year, 1-0. But the schedule as a whole, really doable. They really set this up nicely, man. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
The only loser in this schedule is the city of Tallahassee. I mean let's be real.
Oh, well, that's every year.
As a citizen of this town, ridiculous. 827 is your first game. Yeah, congratulations. 112 heat index in the stands. Who's going to show up for that one? They're all saving up to go to New Orleans.
It could have been 72 with a slight breeze and no humidity, and nobody's coming to the Duquesne game.
It could have been
Duquesne.
$2 for Duquesne.
It's stupid.
For beers. There you go. You could have incentivized it, and then the Friday game for Florida. That also hurts up here. That's not good.
Come see Florida State and Duquesne, August 27th, followed by Trisha Yearwood. There's nothing. No, there's nothing.
I'm calling 644 Norvell right now.
With Trisha Yearwood. All right, so 1-0 with the big win over Duquesne. Now let's take it to New Orleans, which I would admittedly prefer be Baton Rouge, but alas, it's not, and I love New Orleans. And because my boy Tom has never been to New Orleans, we're going to have ourselves a time, Tommy.
They tell me I'm going to experience smells that I won't like very much, but I will appreciate the music.
Well, you'll appreciate the music, you'll appreciate the food, you'll appreciate the culture, you'll appreciate getting bombed on Bourbon Street and then gambling. Oh, what a night.
And we'll go live on Warchant TV for that one.
Woohoo! But do we experience a win? If it ain't the Alabama Slammer. So, do we get a win over the newly donned Southern King?
Am I going first?
Sure.
Yes, we do.
Woo!
We pick up that win. That's their first game under Brian Kelly. They got a lot of moving parts. We've got fewer moving parts. And, yeah, I think it's going to be ugly, but we'll win it. 2-0.
I sure hope you're right. I am holding out hope that is exactly the case. I have waffled on this one. I really have spent some time here.
Waffly McWafferson.
I have been Waffly McWafferson, and I've been frustrated by it. I'm still waffling as it stares me in the face during W's and L's. I'm going to go with that's a loss for Florida State. That's a loss for Florida State. So I'm going to write T. Lizzie over here. You got 2-0. I wrote down King JC. Has us 1-1. All right. Now, here we go. We go to the bye week.
We're going to put your cartoon head on the baby's head for New Orleans. Keep the theme going for King JC.
Saturday, September the 10th will be a leisurely Saturday, one filled with contemplation and football viewing with no stress.
I like it.
Yeah. Then we're on the road on a Friday night, September the 16th at Louisville. And I dare say it's about time that if this program is going to have the kind of season that it needs to have, that they go get them a win against Louisville. It was the second half of this game where I contend you saw the catalyst for change for Florida State. Others disagree. They think Louisville just let off the gas. But I disagree with those that disagree. I think we saw a catalyst for change in the second half. Florida State facing year 16 starting quarterback.
Malik Cunningham III.
Malik Cunningham has been there for as long as Carlos Huerta was kicking field goals for Miami. I'll say it's a 3-point win on the road, a last-second field goal. The Noles get it done.
I love where this game is on the schedule. After the bye, gives you an extra day of preparation for your next game.
It's why I took it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The momentum is true. The Noles are 3-0.
Oh, look at Tom Lang. You're good.
We are now 23rd in the country. We're back in the polls.
I've got us 2-1. You've got us 3-0. Come back the following week. Another very good quarterback. Another well-coached team. Another game that if you're Florida State hearkening back to yesteryear and showing any sign, any semblance of hope that you're getting closer and closer to those teams, you beat Boston College. Come on. You beat Boston College. I got the Noles winning that game. I'll tell you what, I got the Noles winning that game kind of comfortably, Tom.
Hey.
Big win for the Noles.
Would have been a comfortable win last year if it wasn't for the officials trying to get involved in that and successfully getting involved in that game.
Yeah.
I agree. Noles are now number 21 in the country, 4-0.
Folks in Tallahassee are talking about a national title. The next week, Wake Forest. We got the benefit of some of the most ridiculous calls we saw all season, and that's saying something.
Boston College, the only other real competitor for most ridiculous.
Wake's well coached, and they have a quarterback who's also been there for 47 years and very, very talented, and he'll be back again, and he's very, very good. Florida State gets the win against Wake Forest, baby. There you go. There you go. It's a big win for the Noles.
I just can't pick us to be 5-0. I'm sorry. So the reason it's a loss is because the defense, especially that defensive line, this is where it hurts. Wake Forest can get in a mode where they go score for score with you. That's what happens in this game. It's a thriller, but it's a downer. Yep.
All right, you and I have the Noles at 4-1 through the first 5. All right, still feeling froggy. Better lace them up on the road at NC State. That defensive line was not one that we could block a year ago, and it won't be again next year. And Leary's back for them. Again, theme here, folks. Quarterbacks that are good, that have been at the same place forever and a day running those offenses. Holds true again here. The Noles fall on the road to NC State, especially if it's the weekend in which the fair is in town.
There's no doubt. It's going to have to be. It's also going to be a night kick. 4-1 Noles on the road in the ACC. Oh, my goodness. ESPN, where do I sign up? That's what they say. 7 p.m. kick. We lose, sadly.
4-2 as we move on to host Clemson. And Unfortunately, another team on the slate that we can't block, and I have a rule of thumb. If I've discerned that you can't block somebody, I don't think you beat them. I'll pick Clemson to come in here and get the win, sadly.
A dysfunctional mess of a Clemson program will hop on that plane down to Tallahassee, and those charter buses will roll into the stadium wondering where the good coaches have gone in their program. Will Shipley's a nice player, and he'll go for $150 all-purpose. Clemson loses to Florida State.
Tommy!
What a bounce back after 2 straight losses.
Big win. All right, so I've got us 4-3, who are 5-2. We go to the bye week, we lick our wounds, then we come back, we beat Georgia Tech's ass. Game's not even close,
Good.
Not even competitive.
In the
Forget
interest
about
of the
it.
90 seconds we have, good win.
Well, we're not going to cheat. We're saving the remaining games on the schedule, including
Whoa!
on the road to the other side. That's how we roll. I'm not cheating our people out of W's and L's.
Then, all right, it should be said. Oh, as I'll turn that down. It's an autoplay. It's us.
Yeah.
It's us. But then it's going to be an absolute ass kicking.
Ass kicking.
Finally, it's
Call it
going
a
to
day.
feel like the Georgia Tech purge.
Call it a day. Coach Collins, come get your whooping. One of many you're going to take this year. My God, when I went through the thing and went through every team on the schedule and then saw their schedule, and I looked at Georgia Tech's schedule, I went, what are the folks do? They hate him. They must hate him. They're like, get this ass fired.
I hate him.
Get rid of him. Sign everybody up. So Jimbo's somehow scheduling for Georgia Tech. We got a big win there, 5-3. You've got a 6-2. When we come back on the other side, we'll wrap up W's and L's, starting with the road trip against the Canes, the hated Canes. Chef Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
Our friends at ISF work hard to help their clients solve the future. ISF is an integrated IT and management consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, serving clients all across the country. With the new year upon us, ISF reminds you to create a clear strategy, optimize your process, and modernize your technology to meet all your goals in 2022. For more information, visit ISF.com. That's ISF.com. ISF, solving the future.
Stuck in an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out?
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be. A boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thing shoe. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Major oil-producing countries are adding just a bit more oil to the global economy. The decision likely to support prices that are near their highest level now in 7 years. The 23-member OPEC alliance sticking with its roadmap and is adding 400,000 barrels per day in March. One result? Drivers will pay more for gas. The Biden administration seems to be lowering expectations ahead of Friday's release of the monthly jobs report.
White House officials, from the president's economic advisor to Press Secretary Jen Psaki, are warning that January's jobs numbers could be lower because the coronavirus surge was at its height when last month's surveys were taken.
So we just wanted to kind of prepare, people to understand how the data is taken, what they're looking at.
She said nearly 9 million people called out sick in early January when the jobs data were being collected. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, a winter storm already dropped heavy snow over much of Kansas and parts of Missouri. That storm put a long stretch of states from New Mexico and Colorado to Maine under winter storm warnings and watches. CNN President Jeff Zucker has abruptly resigned after acknowledging a consensual relationship with a coworker.
Jeff Zucker says in a statement he revealed his relationship with a coworker when he was asked about it as part of an investigation into former anchor Chris Cuomo, who was fired for helping his brother, then New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, during a sexual harassment investigation. Zucker says he was required to disclose the relationship when it began, and he was wrong for not doing so. Zucker has served as president of CNN Worldwide since 2013. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
And on Wall Street, stocks higher, the Dow up 140 points. And the NASDAQ also 40 points higher. More at townhall.com.
So I invested in one of those fancy new exercise bikes. Without a doubt, a very special tool to help me get healthier. The problem is 3 days go by, then 4, and I've done nothing. And then it's night 5, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I look down at myself, and I can't help but just laugh. Because there I am, wearing the exercise t-shirt that came with the bike, and I'm eating 2 corn dogs. And I think we'd all agree, the special tool only matters if we use it to our benefit. At United Faith Mortgage, we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions. There's no middleman. And often, this allows us to get you a better rate on your refinance or new home purchase, which can save you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
The all-new Smitty's Tap House and Grill is now open. Smitty's reflects a deep appreciation for fine craft beers and tasty bar treats, with family recipes handcrafted by Smitty himself. Try the house-made giant pretzels, made from scratch mozzarella sticks, and some of the best cheesesteaks you've ever had. We're not even scratching the surface on what Smitty's Tap House and Grill has to offer, so be sure to visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com to check out the full menu. Smitty's Tap House and Grill on Thomasville Road, just north of Cary Forest Parkway.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
in just a moment. Obviously, last hour, a lot on the table. We talked a little bit about Florida State, obviously, in the midst of some interesting stuff. Derek Ray going to serve as a GM role for Florida State for recruiting. And this is very modern. Very, very modern, right? All these schools now hiring GMs to help coordinate the recruiting efforts.
Yeah, the most important thing to you and I as Nole fans and to the people who are watching on YouTube, listening around, is that Michael Alford is spending more money on this football program. Period.
Yeah, and he needs to, because I was reading an article about Napier's efforts to go 40 and 50 analysts deep on that staff. Like every one of his assistants has an assistant. It's insane, including if you're looking at nutrition. Where you have the head nutritionist with assistants for, certain for the offense and the defense, it's amazing, all this stuff that they're doing. So we need to do the same. Obviously, you have to be able to keep up with the Joneses, as they say. And it's not just them. Obviously, this is becoming the norm now. And Alfred is willing to do that and understands the importance of it. So that's good. And we'll vet and have a chance to talk more about Derek Ray, who comes over from Oregon State. In a few minutes here. We'll come back over to that. I do want to point something out before we get to W's and L's. Obviously, last hour we talked a lot, in that first segment especially. I want people to think we're glossing over it, because we're not. The events of yesterday and on into this morning, when you read the lawsuit filed by Brian Flores, and it's a weighty matter. It's an amazing thing to kind of try to read through, and the assertions, the accusations are obviously very important to get to the bottom to. I think the NFL's in real trouble here. I think my man's bringing receipts, and I think this is going to go to the hilt, and we're going to go to court, and we're going to see change enacted. I do believe that. Now, I am way out in front. Obviously, we've got a lot more to get to. I don't know that Stephen Ross will remain the Dolphins owner if they're able to prove any of the things about tampering and asking coaches to purposely lose games. This will all be something that speaks to the integrity of the game, and that's something the NFL will not be able to wash away. Usually, if you look at the history of class action suits against the National Football League, smartly, the NFL and its owners, billionaires galore, pay for it to go away. That's what they do. They don't want it to go to court. They don't want this to get caught up in the courts. They don't want a battle for the public opinion. They don't want to have these debates publicly. They don't want folks throwing around the kind of accusations, especially if they bring proof, that Brian Flores is throwing around. And they do everything in their power, because after all, Roger Goodell works for the owners. They do everything in their power to protect those owners, right? Including owners who have been accused of and been found guilty of pretty heinous behavior, even criminal behavior, as we well know. They get protected by the league. Once they're in a position of power, such as ownership of a team, and they've paid the money that is required to own a team, and the commitment to the National Football League, right? What you have to give the league to become an owner in addition to buying of the team. Those guys get protected in a way. It's like they're made. It's like they're in the mob. That would explain how Daniel Snyder has a job still, how he's still the owner of the Washington football team. Now, not the Washington football team, which I guess we could talk about too, but that shows you how the lengths that they'll go to avoid running somebody off. Forcing the hand of owners.
Yeah, so quickly, let me ask you about the Washington thing, and I'll get back to the Flores fight. But
the Commanders,
who did worse by a fan base? LeBron James to the Cavs when he left the first time,
peed on their face,
or the ownership group of the Washington football team with those new uniforms? Have you seen the uniforms for the Commanders?
I have.
Oh my God!
I like the W on the helmet. The helmet's fine. The other parts of the uniform.
So they have an Arizona State uniform.
Yes, they
have
do.
a
The
Troy
black
uniform.
Yes, they do.
And then they have a bastardization of their awesome uniform from last year.
Their uniform from last year was my favorite uniform in football.
There it is.
It was perfect. Every weekend, I have a friend that's a Washington fan. One of my very best friends in all the world is married to a diehard, lifelong Washington fan, right? And we tease each other all of us tease each other about each other's teams, right? But every weekend when I would throw on Red Zone and they would cut to the Washington game, I'd be reminded of how much I love their uniforms, and I would text her and go, "Damn it, your uniforms are awesome." And now they've screwed that up. I don't mind the name Commanders. I get it. It's, obviously, if you're gonna, I would have stuck with Washington football team, frankly.
Well, their logo that they have, I saw the jackets that they gave the crew on NFL Network this morning because they want them to flaunt the new logos. But on the back, it almost looks like a crest, kind of akin to the Baltimore Ravens crest, where you have like the state flag and whatever, like the city, right? Those emblems. That's an awesome logo. That's cool. but those uniforms are god awful. I mean, they've gone from top 5 in the league. I agree with you. Some weekends I go, well, that's the best in football.
Yeah, they have a combination that is right up there.
To now, they're among the bottom 3 with the Rams and whoever. Just awful. Terrible.
I want to read you a phrase from the Washington Post that I read this morning that made me laugh, and then we'll move on and get back to W's and L's because with bated breath, folks, we're hanging on at the end of the last hour. Commanders was chosen last fall, according to the team officials, and a meticulous design phase quickly followed. Code and Theory designed the Commanders logo, and Nike handled the helmet designs.
Yeah.
Tanya Snyder, the wife of owner Daniel Snyder, who was appointed the team's co-CEO last summer, has a background in the fashion industry and was said to be heavily involved in the uniform design. Of course she was.
Was she the one who unveiled them? Because I saw the unveiling, and there was a woman who introduced it and said, here they are, and she goes, yay. And it's the only clap that you hear when the curtain drops at today's ceremony.
Yeah, I have no idea, but it's just awesome. Like if you play for Washington and we talk about the absurdity of Daniel Snyder, and then he appoints his wife co-CEO, and then she's in charge of your new uniform, and you wear the coolest uniforms, one of the coolest uniforms in sports, and then there she is with the curtain, and they come out with that. You're like, okay, this is a clown show.
So is it fair to say with the Flores situation that the NFL's policies on integrity of the game, tampering, and whatever you want to call it, tanking, those are the things that are going to be changed? And not like, because how can you change the hiring practices beyond what they've done? I don't know what meaningful change there will be there besides awareness of the problem and documentation of the problem. But I do think that the penalties for, if they can prove $100,000 kickbacks for losses and then tampering with other, I mean, they already have penalties for that. They've taken draft picks away from ownership groups. But I feel like that is going to be what comes out of this, other than a PR problem for the NFL.
If you read what's alleged in that lawsuit, and it's a lot, there's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
But it's comprehensive. The litany of transgressions and examples of high-profile black coaches that have not been given opportunities to be head coaches and or were held to a double standard is striking. And he's filing the lawsuit not only on his own behalf, but on the behalf of other African-American coaches. So there's so much to
who may
this.
join the suit. There may be, yes, this is just the first one, a trailblazer, and perhaps there's going to be other groups.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So there can be real change enacted if they bring the receipts, if you're able to prove. Now, listen, the numbers alone are telling and startling, and those have been well documented for a very long time. But these are very specific accusations against specific individuals, and so that will have to be proven, including obviously outside the realm of unfair hiring practices. You have this entire argument about integrity of the game being messed with by an owner telling a coach that you must lose games, and then the coach saying, I won't do it, and then him saying, I'll pay you to do it. I mean, that's crazy.
The tough thing is when it comes to hiring practices, and I mean, you've got a theory that, and we can go into this maybe later, but that Bill Belichick might have
intentionally done it,
helped move this along a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to give him too much credit, Tom. I just think given his relationship with Brian Flores, first of all, it's ingenious if he did it on purpose, because that's a great way to do it and say, oopsie. But I think that would be a way that you would say, this is what's happening to you. If you loved somebody, if you cared about them deeply and you thought this was unfair,
right,
that's how you could do it.
But the one thing I'd say where it becomes difficult to prove in a court of law, and I'm not going to argue that the numbers don't say something. They do.
Oh,
absolutely they do.
100%
Absolutely they do.
Yes, it's not even close.
But we've all been in settings in the real world, in the job world, in which there has already been somebody who is going to get the job, perhaps an internal promotion, but they have to make the job public. And so therefore there might be scuttlebutt around the office that, it's his job or her job. There'd have to be a miracle interview in order for them to lose a job. And it's openly discussed, which in and of itself, I guess, is illegal, because then it shows that there's already a conclusion that's been come to rather than a fair hiring practice.
Yeah, he was being used to fulfill the Rooney Rule, which is to check a box.
But what I'm saying is that particular idea where Bill Belichick, let's just say he wasn't faking it, and he did make a mistake, like an honest mistake where he found the wrong, Brian.
Grabbed the wrong Brian.
Yeah, right. Is that happens in the real world all the time, where you might catch wind that, they're going to get that job because they've been waiting for it for 10 years. Now they got to open it and they've got to wait through the hiring process, but that job's going to go to X person in any walk of life, in any profession.
Yes, but this isn't any profession. It's one with a history of unfair hiring practices, and it's been proven. So now you have a much greater responsibility, also with the makeup of the league, a much greater responsibility to be on the up and up in the hiring practices. It's incumbent upon you now. If you're working at a company that has been accused of and proven to have slighted the hiring practice, the job, the requirements of posting, allowing for fair, substantial interview, and then you continue to do it, the weight of the punishment is even greater.
If you can prove that they did it. That's my point.
It
Is
gets easier to prove when it happens repeatedly.
Do you think that this crosses that threshold, that this case will do so based upon the complaint that's filed?
I mean, we can't know. I'm going to continue to read. I find it fascinating. I do know this. Even if you think Bill Belichick screwed that up and just accidentally emailed the wrong or texted the wrong Brian, there's intentionality to the follow-up email that occurs occurs 2 hours later. Bill knows the rules. So I'm inclined to think that he was saddened for his friend, whom he respects immensely, and wants to say, in a way, this is what's happening. Flores today, by the way, the saddest thing I heard was in his interview. First of all, it's clear he likes Brian Dable, and he thinks he'll do a good job. He was like, unfortunately, this gets caught up in that. I think Brian's going to do a fine job. But he's also hurt and angry and humiliated that it was a token interview, right? That it wasn't a real interview. They didn't take it serious. And when he was asked specifically about that, about what his first thoughts were, and when he said, well, frankly, it was disbelief and humiliation. It was a very tough pill to swallow. And then he went on to say, and this was the part that made me sad, after noting that he thought Coach Dable would do a good job. Look, he got that. He inferred that he understood that back alley deals are talked about in certain inner circles that he's not a part of, and that's frustrating. That's part of the lawsuit, all that stuff. But that the only reason he went to after that series of texts with Bill Belichick to the sham interview was because he believed, quote, people are innately good. And if given the opportunity to do the right thing, they will. And then he said, I'm a gifted coach, and I'm gifted to coach. And I thought if I got before them, no matter what they had decided previous, that I could convince them otherwise, and I'd hope they'd see in me my talents. Man, that breaks my heart. I mean, that's sad. I mean, that's awful to be in that situation.
Yeah, I hear that 100%. And
I mean, that really bothers me.
It would bother me too if I was him. But who's to say that they, in their heart of hearts, didn't believe that Dable was the better hire?
Right. And this is part of having to prove
that's where I get, Jesus, good luck.
Well, right. They can think that. But again, they have already been, per their own rules, instructed to go through this vetting process that they do, including interviewing minority candidates.
Right. Somebody got sloppy and loose-lipped and said that we're going with Dable before they had
revealed potentially the very thing he's suing over or alleging. Right. So if that's true, it'll be fascinating. It will be very fascinating. And there's just getting started. Here we go. Back to W's and L's. We didn't finish it. It was wrong of me not to. Should I wait? You want to wait? No, we can't make him wait again. Let's get back to it. Before, where we last spoke. When we last spoke, Tom had Florida State at 6-2 with a win over Clemson, I might add.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not exactly the Clemson of 3 years ago, right?
We think. I mean, yes, they didn't look almighty as they have for way too long. They did go 10-3 if you count the bowl win.
They did, but can Dabo hire a super staff again?
Well, and moreover, you can't continue to get lucky as elite-level pro prospect quarterbacks from the state of Georgia fall into your arms year in and year out. So maybe DJ, who showed a glimpse of elite-level play in the previous incarnation against Notre Dame, then went on to look nothing of the sort. So maybe he's just not elite. Maybe. You look at him, you think he's got to be. He's a big, strong dude with a hose for an arm, but he was a mess.
Right. Even if you're a decent to pretty good quarterback, and pretty good, I'll scrap decent from the conversation. That still makes you vulnerable. Christian Ponder and EJ Manuel were decent quarterbats here.
Oh, yeah.
Jameis
win a lot of games
on a different level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he will. Yeah, he's all-time great. Right.
Right. Trevor and Deshaun are on a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, but they've recruited so much better in the trenches, and that's why I went with Clemson. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I'll celebrate your rightness every day, all day, if in fact we beat Clemson.
I don't feel about this one the way I felt about North Carolina. I'll put it that way.
That's good. It's February. after the Georgia Tech butt kicking we're going to put on them, and Coach Collins, who's on the Trail of Tears here. It's the Bataan Death March for Georgia Tech this season. They got nothing. Look at that schedule. Go look at their schedule. It's funny. It's comical. Anyhow, screw them. They take a beating here. Now, we go on the road at Miami. Tom's got us 6-2 and rolling. I've got us 5-3. In Tom's world, we're already bowl eligible.
That's correct.
But alas, we are still not bowl eligible in my world, and we will remain not bowl eligible after the trip down to Miami, where sadly we fall to 5-4 and Miami gets their revenge.
Yeah, the benefit of playing LSU in its first game of the season, this is the other side of the coin. Miami will have time to have figured it out. They've got a great head start with a really good quarterback. It's unfortunate. These things happen, and I don't like it, but we lost down to Miami.
6-3, Florida State, says Tom Lang. 5-4, says Jeff. Come back, look at our wounds against a sorry Syracuse team who nearly beat Florida State a year ago. By the way, that was an important game as their quarterback, oafish as he might be, ran wild. I will take the Noles to get the win and move to 6-4 and become bowl eligible, buddy, at least in my part. You will also take the Noles to win big over Syracuse and have us going to 7-3. Am I right?
That's pretty close to a 700 winning percentage if my math is correct. It's unbelievable. And you know what? The post-game conversation will say something like, man, isn't it nice to have linebacker play with Tatum Bethune and Kalen DeLoach to stop Sean Tucker?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Isn't that great?
Yeah. That'll be the conversation. 7-3 are the Noles.
6-4 are the Noles. Now it is Louisiana, who I would not have chosen to play out of the G5. But luckily for us, they've been raided, quite literally raided. Their coaching staff, their head coach, took it on down south to Gainesville, and he took with him several very important starters from that football team. Your Louisiana, or Louisiana, as they like to be called, tough to lose starters at various key positions throughout the roster and sustain any level of good. So I'll take the Noles to win at home leading up to the Florida State-Florida game. And I've got us at this point 7-4.
My God, we've won 8 football games.
Oh, look at this.
This is another win. I know the weather's cooling down in Tallahassee, but the Noles are warming up. Kumbaya on Thanksgiving week. And we'll be doing, a special Friday pregame show that week. That's crazy to think about, but we'll get used to it.
So, again, February is the time to be pie in the sky with W's and L's. I don't resent Tom Lang's 8-3 record here, even if I believe the reality is 7-4. The key here is now what we do with this next game. What do we do with this next game as the Gators come to town? They've got better players than we do. They'll be motivated. Their coach in year one will certainly have figured some things out by the time they ride in here. I'm wrestling with it, Tommy. I am looking at this game the same way I look at the LSU game. A whole lot of Waffleson or Waffleson or whatever you call it.
Waffly McWafferson, yes.
Oh, man. I want to believe so bad. But February says 7-5. Noles fall narrowly to Florida, and I say we finish the season 7-5.
Boy, this comes down to the wire, this game.
Oh, it's a tough. It's a field goal attempt.
It's a tough sequence for the Gators, too, from the middle of October through this game, because South Carolina is a little bit better. They beat the hell out of Florida last year, but they're a little bit better as a football program. Florida's taking a step back, so that gap is closed. From the 15th of October through our game, they play LSU, Georgia, at Texas A&M, South Carolina, Vandy for a tune-up, followed by us. I think Florida's a little beleaguered. I think they're beleaguered by this point in the schedule. And I think we're a little bit healthier. We're a little bit better. And we are the winner on this day.
9-3. Listen to this guy. I love it. All right, so Tom's got us winning 9 games. I like his vision better than mine. I've got us going 7-5. It can change. Lots of W's and L's throughout the summer months and the spring and everything else.
Post-spring game one. That's the real one.
Big one. That's the big one. That's well, the biggest one is the one we do in August. But the post-spring one is a much clearer vision.
Well, I was going to say that after the one in the spring. The real one is you always kick that can down the road.
Yeah.
That'll be the real one.
Okay. There it is. W's and L's. I had 7 and 5. Tom had 9 and 3. You got to sign in one of the top 5 classes in the country as well there, Tommy?
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I
but
wouldn't either.
You know what? And my opinion could be changed by these receivers, for example, in spring ball. They don't look as good as people are saying right now about the workouts that are happening off the books. And we can change our mind, right?
Can always change your mind. While many other roofing companies hire out subcontractors to do their work for them, T-Spark Enterprises hires employees, and that's because they value the immense benefits that come with having a trusted, reliable, and highly trained crew that can be held to the highest standards as known for T-Spark Enterprises. That's for sure. Experts in their craft with pride in their work. That's the T-Spark difference. T-Spark is the best in town, period. Give them a call today, 766-1340, 766-1340, or get a free quote online at tsparkconstruction.com.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
This is Susan Gage with good news for homeowners. If you bought a home in Leon County last year, you may qualify for Homestead Exemption, but you need to file by March 1st. Leon County property appraiser Akin Akinyemi says there are many ways to file.
File online, by mail, at our office.
Remember, the deadline is March 1st. Visit leonpa.org or call 850-606-6200.
You can save hundreds of dollars on your property taxes.
Are you stumped on who to call for fast and affordable crane and tree service? Deep South Tree Service is a cut above the rest. They go out on a limb for their customers. With the largest crane in the Big Bend area, no job is too tall, no job is too small. Call Rob for a free quote today. 850-877-TREE. That's 877-8733. Deep South Tree Service. Our roots run deep.
Well, so far this month has already been a long, cold year. But nothing breaks up the cold like a cozy, warm fireplace in your home from Hearth & Patio. You may not know this, but many of today's modern, environmentally friendly indoor fireplace designs offer amazing energy efficiency. And when you get a new fireplace installed by Hearth & Patio, they will also service the equipment to make sure it lasts for years to come. Something else you may not know, Hearth & Patio can also repair your existing fireplace. I'm going to read you a recent review from a real customer. Donna says, our gas fireplace stopped working at a time when we experienced our coldest weather. I called other companies, but the earliest they could send someone out was 10 days. Then I called Hearth & Patio, and they had a technician at my house the next day. He not only was friendly, he fixed the problem and never tried to sell me something I did not need. It was so refreshing. I would not hesitate to call Hearth & Patio again. So the moral of the story is, when you need a fireplace repaired, replaced, or installed, just call Hearth & Patio at 727-4282 or find them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at
Big news out of the NFL. Florida State football coach Mike Norvell adding pieces to his staff, off-field staff, that is, and has now reportedly hired former Oregon State staffer Derek Ray with a Y, just so you know. Not at the end, but also at the beginning. Not just at the end, but also at the beginning.
Ray?
It is a newly created GM position. Ray, who's been Oregon State's director of recruiting operations, player personnel since 2018, is expected to handle similar responsibilities with the Noles. The hiring was reported by Pete Thamel originally there at ESPN and has been not announced officially by Florida State. Has that been rectified? Has that changed? Is that out there yet? I didn't double check.
Not that I've
we went
seen
on the
so
air.
far, but I'm sure it wasn't because of this particular gentleman's ability to wrangle in recruits in the Pac-12 footprint for Oregon State. This has to be about organizational skills, I would think, right? The reason you would hire somebody like Derek Ray from Oregon State to head up a Florida State University general manager's position, that has to be about your time skills, time management skills.
Yeah, he was responsible for managing all aspects of the Mighty Beavers recruiting operation, Tom. And in doing so, that was identifying potential student athletes, the scheduling of official and unofficial visits to campus, served as a pro liaison. I always wanted that in my title. This is Jeff Cameron. He's our afternoon host and liaison for local businesses.
You could call yourself the liaison of the fan base. I mean, you know.
Without question.
Or I'm sorry, the liaison.
Many people do already. Say I'm walking to a shoe store. In the distance, I'll hear liaison, and I'll just give them the peace sign. Thanks for noticing. You know, my kids, by the way, have caused me to return to my childhood. I now am becoming more and more, sadly, embarrassingly so, it's true, I feel the pull and the weight of a sneakerhead. I'm starting to buy too many shoes because I have to buy shoes for them all the time because they're growing so rapidly, and they go through shoes, very expensive shoes. It pisses me off. And the next thing I know, a month and a half in, hey, Dad, I need new shoes. No, you don't. Then I look at them. Yeah, you do. Damn it. So then I go.
So go get them knockoffs.
No, I'm not doing that. That's not what you do. But I have, now I get in there, and rather selfishly, I see all these shoes, and I didn't think it'd have an effect on me. It's like, you know, being formerly a drug addict, and then you're like, I'm over it. I'm good to go. You could put me in a room with a mountain of cocaine. I have no desires. And yet, I was wrong. There I was. I used to love shoes. I had every new Jordan that came out when I was in middle school and high school. I couldn't wait to do it all. I begged my parents for the new ones. And then, you know, years later, you grow up, you become an adult. You're like, I don't need 25 pairs of sneakers. That's ridiculous. But the other day, I bought myself a pair of sneakers for no damn reason. And then I was tempted last night to buy another pair. It's got a hold of me.
Need to go find a meeting.
Guys, I thought I'd moved on. But then I saw a pair of Jordan 4s.
Yeah, friends of Michael J.
And I've always wanted them. I've also wanted the Fires, and there they were. I couldn't believe it. They were in my size. I had an opportunity. Flight Club had them for $350, and I almost pulled the trigger.
You know, it might be willing, or it might be a good time if you're willing to reiterate the story that you took Deion Sanders' shoes, that you have Deion Sanders' shoes.
Well, they were they would have been Deion Sanders
Right.
shoes. Yeah.
Given what's going on with his particular recruiting efforts and how he poached a player from us, and listen, he's undermined many schools. It looks like he's an equal opportunity taker. But you were able to circumvent a freeloading effort from one Deion Sanders years ago. People might like to hear that now more than they've wanted to hear that in some time.
Yeah. It's funny. That situation, I could get somebody else in trouble. So I'm going to not do that. I'm just going to say that it came down to me or Deion because we wear the same size shoe and I won out. That's all I'm going to say. Now, it certainly helped that I had curried favor years prior.
And what size shoe are you, sir?
13.
Okay.
Yeah. I had curried favor. If what, for others to send shoes?
No, just because they might not have had a whole lot of. That's
you
why.
Don't have, that is
it
the
wasn't
problem.
an 11 and a half.
That is the problem. The better shoe story, Tom, is that emasculating moment for that poor man that was shopping for shoes next to me and he was looking for 7s or whatever it was. And I accidentally said, yeah, it was a tough thing. My wife slapped me on the arm.
No, dude.
Well, no. It was one of those classic moments and my wife just grabbed my arm and I was like, oh, but there was no undoing it.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm right now.
There was no undoing it.
Awkwardness is here.
There was no undoing it. I felt terrible about it. I did. I had suggested to the man that perhaps in the kids section, and then I caught myself as I said it. I was actually trying to be helpful. And then I realized just how, it's awful. It's awful to do that. And then he looked at me just.
Ouch.
So, Christy goes.
Well, who was more put off, that particular gentleman or Deion Sanders? Because the word was he wasn't happy.
No, he wasn't happy.
He wanted his free shoes.
He did.
That he could have afforded 100 million times.
He wasn't happy. This was right at the beginning when the general public did not have access to those kinds of school affiliated shoes. Now we all do. Like you can get whatever the players are wearing, coaches are wearing. Go to the Nike sites. Typically,
it's a birthday gift. I'm wearing them right now.
You're wearing them right now, right? So you can get them, and because everybody can get them now, Tom, this is what kind of elitist ass I am. I refuse to wear them. Now, back in the day when nobody could get them, I wore them all the time.
Speaking of the weather, where the weather is right now, and how cold it is. It's about to get a little bit colder over the weekend. What happened to the velvet suit? Why haven't?
Yeah, it's cashmere, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
That can't be cashmere.
It's unbelievable.
Velvet, right?
It's something along those lines. It's pimp, and I have it. And I almost broke it out the other day when it was really cold.
Yeah,
I failed us.
You're almost out of season.
Most people would, I think, be taken aback by me in the leisure suit, but others would be properly in awe. It is so pimp. It is, you have to admit, it's incredible. Remember the day I showed up in that? You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It was between that and the Peacoat are my two favorite days. I'm like, oh my God. What is this
I
guy
still have
doing?
that too, by the
I'm
way.
sure you do.
It's just never cold enough to break
With
it
the
out.
leisure suit, you got to break out a pinky ring and then you got to breathe loudly through your nose.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, I do. I got to break out.
Skull Noles.
Yeah, it's a toughie. Ray, again, will be responsible for team travel, player personnel, pro liaison, and other duties here at Florida State. Let's go. Let's get everybody buttoned up. I just like, if you want to learn more about this, go read Ira Schaffel's story on warchant.com. Alfred determined to help FSU reach next level with moves big and small is the title of that article. You can go find it at warchant.com. It's a really good article. It's lengthy, and it kind of lays out the mission, if you will. And I do like that our new AD is, at the very least, threatening, I think, with very real standards that he laid before everybody, to hold people accountable, Tom, to hold people accountable for doing their job well. And that it's not really arguable. It's not one of those things that you can have a debate about.
Yeah.
There are numbers associated with this.
So when I read the quotes from that article, two things stand out to me. Number one, yeah, this guy is the little things are going to matter to this person, the office environment, all those things where if you've had a boss who's a micromanager, like a real, about things that have nothing to do with the job, you go, oh no. But as a fan, I'm saying, yes, we need that. We have to do more with less. The way we
For
did
now,
in a way
Yeah,
that
yeah.
got us to where we are as a program.
Yeah.
We operated with less resources, fewer resources, and made more out of them. We're going to have to do that again until the TV landscape changes and our payday is somewhere close to the level of the Big Ten and the SEC. I mean, that day may never come. And especially with the implications for NIL, we're going to have to be better than the sum of our parts in a way that Florida doesn't have to be. Even Arkansas doesn't have to be.
Oh,
so you need
Arkansas's
an
got all kinds of
attitude.
money. Yeah.
You need an attitude like this guy's. You have to have it.
Yes, it's a long time coming.
But if I was working in that office, I'd say, Jesus, really? I've got to pick that chair up? Come on, man.
I'm just really happy that we no longer have pseudo puppet ADs that really aren't doing anything that matters. That you have a guy that is at least empowered to make very real and impactful decisions. Now, he may or may not succeed. That's on him. But we have one now. We now have a guy. Now, and that's not me like singing the praises of Michael Alford per se. It's just that finally we've moved into the modern era. This is it's now possible. We were running things so archaically, and it showed, and it was very, very frustrating. Did you know that the three-toed sloth, which, by the way, is my favorite animal? Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, three-toed sloth
More
is my
so
favorite.
than the blue-footed booby bird?
Yeah, and I like any number of other oddities in the animal kingdom, but three-toed sloths are fantastic, and they are one of the slowest and laziest mammals in the world. Maybe you have too much money in the bank that is also moving slowly like the sloth because you're barely earning any interest. That's called lazy money.
Don't be Charlie Weiss.
That poor belt. What does this mean, you ask? This means that you may have too much money in the bank that is losing to inflation. It's a good time to have money in the bank in case of an emergency because it's safe and liquid. But do you have too much money in the bank? For example, if you have $100,000 in the bank earning 1% interest, let's say the current rate of inflation is 5%, that means that you're losing 4% per year to inflation. Another example in dollars is if you have $100,000 in the bank, it's earning 1%, and the inflation rate is 5%, you're guaranteed to lose $4,000 per year in purchasing power, or $40,000 over a 10-year period. That's a lot. It adds up. If you feel that you have too much lazy money in the bank and that it's not working for you, call Pete Tyson, 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. He'll provide you with a safe money kit, give you other options that may help you earn more interest. There is no cost or obligation to doing so. Make it happen. Friends at Preservation Financial Group.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare announced Tuesday as a new dedicated helicopter medical crew that will help bring faster critical care to patients within 120 miles of the hospital. TMH is teaming up with Survival Flight Incorporated to establish this crew to help save lives throughout the Big Bend. The helicopter and crew will be on call 24/7 to fly the area's most critical patients to TMH, and the helicopter crew can take patients from rural healthcare facilities. Additionally, local emergency services can send the helicopter directly to crash scenes. A longtime friend of Henry Pike says he is the man who was shot and killed outside a Gadsden County business over the weekend. Gretna police said Saturday night the suspect, Cedric Thomas, was a recently fired employee who was asked to return property. Pike hired Thomas to work for his transportation company based in Roberts, Kentucky. Thomas reported the shooting himself and was arrested later Saturday after a brief standoff with GCSO deputies. Court records show Thomas is charged with second-degree murder. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 73 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, southeasterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows level off around 57 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Highs around 75 tomorrow, a blend of clouds and sun. Chance for scattered storms Friday, chance for scattered showers on Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 74.
Our friends at ISF work hard to help their clients solve the future. ISF is an integrated IT and management consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, serving clients all across the country. With the new year upon us, ISF reminds you to create a clear strategy, optimize your process, and modernize your technology to meet all your goals in 2022. For more information, visit ISF.com. That's ISF.com. ISF, solving the future. If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be. A boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jammin' Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Yesterday. Did you look at those highlights?
Yes, I did. It's that mean streak that you saw at practice with the walk-ons when the walk-ons were half-stepping and that we saw a few times this season. It's not that he didn't have the capacity to play mean or he didn't play to the echo of the whistle. He did. But there were certain moments where you get uncomfortable with how nasty he is. And you saw a little bit of that in the Senior Bowl. He's making himself some cash.
The kind of nastiness from the opening rep, you could tell it caught the lineman he was going one-on-one with completely off guard. You have to guess that that those guys are kind of like, well, all-star, senior, whoa, Jesus. Because my man stepped foot on the grounds in an effort to make a lot of money. And already this offseason, since the end of the year when we began to speculate with the season that he had, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, where would he likely fall in the draft? We kind of speculated, was there a chance? It only takes one team. At the end of the first round, somebody might go, if you're a team whose philosophy is centered around production in the college game and not just tools, if you see a guy, because a lot of guys look the part, a lot of guys will come to a combine and they'll wow you. And then you watch the tape or you look at their career numbers or whatever it might be, and you'll say, well, it's just not there. The production isn't there. I'm not seeing it. If you can't find a reason for that, such as a team staying away from Jalen Ramsey, for example, a lot of dumbasses towards the end of Jalen's time here would be like, where are the interceptions? Man, nobody wants to throw Jalen Ramsey's way. That's why there's no interceptions.
Same for Samuel, who did quite well before his injury last year. Same for Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah. So the point would be, like, these guys know what they're looking at. So they would look at the film and go, well, it has not, his production isn't down because of an inability to live up to what the numbers suggest he should in terms of height, weight, speed, vertical, but because teams are just avoiding him. So Jermaine's this kid that when you look at him, or this man, that when you look at him, you go, that guy looks like an NFL football player. He looks like a guy that could play on Sundays. He has since the second we saw him, right? And then there's the production, which is also there. And now there's this. So every box you're checking, you're going, well, just because Georgia didn't know what they were looking at doesn't mean that that guy couldn't play and that he just went nuts in a substandard conference. It's that he could really play and he took over games in a Power 5 league. And now look at him. He's built right. He comes in hungry. He's motivated. His technique is good. The numbers are there to boot. So to me, I think he's clearly playing himself into the first round. That's good for you, Jermaine Johnson. I'm telling you what, it is so rare a kid that plays one season like he did for us. I know we've talked about this, but that guy is going to be one of my favorite former Noles ever. I love him.
Yeah, and he's going to off the charts. He'll test off the charts in the interviews for the combine because of how real he is. He's got an aura about him that is genuine, and that's going to stand out in those rooms. You know, they're going to say, "What about the money?" He says, "Yeah, it's fine, but listen, I'm here to do well. I'm here to play well." It's a league of tryhards. Everybody's gifted in the NFL, but who's willing to put in the extra work? Jermaine Johnson is. That's going to, I mean, if it isn't apparent by now in the Senior Bowl, it's going to be apparent in private workouts, combine interviews around his former stops along the way. You don't think Mike Norvell is going to give that guy a glowing review? Of course he is. His position coaches at Georgia, of course they are. Now, that's where all of those little things can push you from 42nd up to 27th in the draft, beyond your measurables, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think they will too. I'm excited for him. I'm just excited that it's turning out that way. Like if you look at most of the mocks, he's gone from being on very few of them. Occasionally, that somebody would have him sprinkled in toward the back end of the draft and the first round. That is, most people had him second, third round, that kind of thing. Now, when you go check the latest updated version, the latest mock, a lot of them have Jermaine Johnson in that first round, comfortably in that first round, I might add. Many of them have him somewhere at 15, 16, 17. So good on you, Jermaine Johnson. And that is really good for Florida State. Really good for Florida State because now you're looking at a guy who, again, has glowing things to say about the coaching staff, glowing things to say about the fan base, glowing things to say about the university, and is, of course, a transfer portal kid who just elevated his stock through a singular season at said institution. That is an easy sell to a lot of guys. And if you parlay that, Tom, with the conversations that we could hear on warchant.com this week, Florida State did a good job giving us players over the last 5 days or so. You go through and listen to those kids and talk about why Florida State stood out and how it was they came to the conclusion that Florida State was a good landing spot for them. Almost all of them talk about those successes and also how quickly the staff challenged them and said it wasn't about, hey, there's playing time. It was, yeah, obviously we wouldn't be talking if we didn't think you could play or help us. But by the way, I'm going to make you better. I'm going to ensure that you're a better football player when you come here than when you arrived. And I'm going to help you become the very best player you can be. And that's repeated time and again. That's the mantra of Mike Norvell. He did the same thing with Jermaine Johnson and then held true to it. Hard coaching is something you have to be willing to accept if you come here, at least from the head coach. And I don't think Coach Adkins backs down. So there's several guys that you have to be willing to handle, and you have to accept it, and you have to embrace it. And if you do, they're proving you can get better. Now, the other side of that is you'd like to win more games. You got to get, if I'm a kid who'd like to win a championship, whether that be a league championship or whatever, maybe Florida State is out right now. Maybe Florida State's just not where I need them to be, especially if I'm a senior and I'm making this a one-year endeavor. But
yeah, our pitch right now is improve standing, to transfers. That's what we're saying. Improve your standing. You're going to have the opportunity until that can't be the pitch anymore because we're winning enough that we bring in the blue chippers. But that's you got to roll with the punches and you got to pitch what you can. And that's what we can pitch right now is opportunity. And now you have a bona fide reason that it could work here. And Jared Verse was one of those guys that listened to the message from Jermaine Johnson.
Yes, he
did. Wasn't the deciding factor, but it's good. He went to bat for us. He didn't use us and leave us and say, see you later, Tallahassee. It's been real. No, not at all. He said he wants to be a Nole for life and he wants to come back here and help more.
If we weren't on local radio, I had so many jokes with that. It would have been so fun, but that would have to be for Bellying Up, which we're going to reintroduce soon enough. But you gave me a lot there.
That's what I do. I'm a giver.
You gave me a lot right there. I liked hearing from Johnny Wilson this week. He was great. And AJ Duffy talking about Norvell, Tony Tokar's learning the offense, how proactive he was since committing to FSU, his enjoyment of watching film, coach's kid. That aspect helps. He talked all about that. Learning the new offense, being prepared is damn important. Talked about that. Wanting to emulate Tom Brady. Well, there you go, buddy. That's a good role model. Good job.
So you might be a West Coast kid by, high school connections before IMG, but his dad's from Boston. So he's got a little bit of both coasts.
A little something to him. Come back, wrap it up momentarily. We'll do our picks.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows who Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. No, this is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11, Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Your home is where your memories live, where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Florida Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 75 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Look and see, the golf tournament was announced today. The Jeff Cameron Show Warchant Invitational to take place Friday, April the 15th. Mark it down on your calendar if you're wanting to play. We're going to be at Capital City Country Club, benefiting the Second Harvest. Really looking forward to that. My friends at Warchant and 93.3. We're going to have a great time, and all of you, of course. It's going to be great. I love that course. This is going to be a good re-entry into the golf tournament world. We had these for 13, 14 years for a long, long time. Had to give it up for a while. Now we've brought it back.
There'll be further information on signups and for sponsorships, things of that nature in the days and weeks to come. But we wanted to announce it. So you can pencil it in on your calendars. It's going to be a really good day.
So really quick, I tweeted last night. I'm just so ornery these days about the stadium over there. I understand what I did. I didn't mean to. I love Florida State baseball, and it just hurts my soul that we have to get excited about stupid padding. So I popped off about that.
What, during headlines?
No, on Twitter.
Oh.
I was just angry. They're like, we're putting in the new pads. I was really, thanks for the new pads.
Did we not get meat now this year?
We'll get meat. No, he agrees with me. That's a hellhole over there. Cue it up. We got 30 seconds. You got to pick. Let's go. All right, it's enough of music. Here we go. Brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to NorthFloridaPayroll.com. Woo!
That's a nice read right
there. How do we go, baby?
With 20 seconds to spare.
Maverick McNeely, 25-1. You.
Edmonton, -125 against Washington tonight.
Peace. Good job, Tom. Good job, Matthew. Good job, all of you.
Good job, North Florida.
Talk to you.